This year we're doing a seminar with Contagious magazine, and it's entitled Contagious Ideas That Change the Conversation. And essentially what we're doing is we're looking very long and hard at all the conversations that are going on out there and trying to give our audience a clue as to how they might want to look at changing conversations. So we give people 4 different ways of analysing the conversation that's going on and what they might want to do to address those issues, those opportunities, those situations, because we as a business think that our job is to provide a contagious idea and to change these conversations that are going on around our clients' brands. And I have to say, we've looked at everything from the positive side, igniting conversations, to trying to own a conversation, through to confronting one, which is obviously one that BP and others have to look at right now, and finally subverting a conversation, which is really more about, as you can see at the World Cup, for example, where Nike's doing a much better job than Adidas. So that's the way we're looking at things, and we think it could be fun. I think the issue that people ask about BP and what should they be doing, I think the first thing is that we're not really in the right business to be talking about what they should be doing, because what they have is an engineering problem. They don't really have a marketing problem just yet. They have primarily an engineering problem, and they're working flat out to solve it, and they're probably better at that than anyone in this building. But I think once that engineering problem is resolved, clearly they do then face the need to look at marketing and advertising. I'm sure they will. But right now, anyone in marketing and advertising should keep quiet, just like I'm sure BP are choosing to do, and focus on the task in hand, which is to stop the leaking. I think clients' brands have always tried to be able to have a conversation with their customers. Actually, I think they've used to call it direct marketing. And I think the issue of today, or the opportunity of today, is that social media has transformed the opportunity that people have to make comments and conversations themselves, with or without the brand, but always about the brand. And what clients need to do is, for sure, is to not put their heads in the sand, to listen to their 20-year-old sons and daughters and to say, aha, there is something going on out there, and my job is to come in and try and influence that conversation positively, to broaden the brand experience that customers are getting, and to give people, frankly, a reward for supporting. Because even though the breadth of conversations means there's more negative than ever, it's also an opportunity for greater transparency, and for people who are aficionados of the brand to have them be rewarded by that engagement. So I think it is not only possible for people to own the conversation about their brand, but essential that they do, because the customers and the supporters are feeling somewhat lonely on bad days if they don't. My favorite campaign this year, obviously I've got a couple from my own company that I will always be pushing for. We've got some excellent pro bonos for iHobo and for Samu Social out of the UK and France respectively. I think the British Army should do quite well, and we've got some interesting things on the shortlist from places like Brazil with Swatch, so I'm looking forward to seeing our own stuff. For people outside the Publicis network, I find the Nike Chalkbot work just fabulous, and I'm sure it'll do well in titanium. I think for a brand that's always led the way and has in the last year or two been a little behind, to suddenly come back with something that is so strongly of today, leading the conversation on the street literally, is a very special idea, and I look forward to seeing it do well. I think Cannes is not just about the conferences and the speeches, but it's also about the networking. I think the last year's Cannes was more a Davos of advertising than a party of advertising, and I think this year we're hoping to see a lot more of the same, maybe more people, but the same kind of intellectual pursuit of the way the festival works. Certainly for me, my diary is crammed full. I don't think I have a second off, and it is for good stuff. It's about meeting people, it's about meeting clients, it's about seeing people you haven't seen for a long time, but using it to discuss the issues that we need to discuss today. And also, of course, looking at the seminars you want to see and learning stuff. So it's a combination of learning and networking, which, to be honest, is exactly what Davos does.